Good morning.
Hiya.
How you doing?
Happy Valentine's Day.
This is
Big plan.
our most romantic episode of Coffee and Co-Creation ever. I should have ordered flowers.
Big plans?
0 plans.
Good. That's what I'm into.
It's like I told Nick this morning. It's like every day is Valentine's Day for us.
That's what I feel. Does that work?
Well, I mean, that's she agreed. She's like, you don't need a day to be a permission slip to express your love.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, this is what I thought. Because Super Bowl for Sunday, we went wild. That was a great day.
What did you do for Super Bowl?
I just make a ton of food. I made so
much food. So Valentine's Day is an excuse or permission slip to express your love. Super Bowl is a permission slip to eat your face off.
Yeah. And yell at the television.
and so what did you make? Wings? Brisket?
What did we make? Oh my gosh, I made so much stuff. I made jalapeno poppers. Oh my God. It was just like everything, like it was all carnivore. It was all meaty.
Nice.
And then ate a half a bag of Oreos too. So oops.
I would feel awful if I did that.
I did feel awful. It was great. It was great. How you not watching the Super Bowl? This is craziness.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it's not.
Some years I used to watch it, but last couple of years I just haven't been interested.
Most watched Super Bowl of all time.
Most watched TV event since the moon landing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And hello to our viewers. Thanks for showing up live. How many of you guys watched the Super Bowl?
You know they did. They had to. They love it.
So what are we going to explore today? What are we going to talk about today? More remote.
Yeah, so that's the question, right? What do they want to talk about? They want to talk about love. They do. Do they want to talk about remote viewing? That's the wildest thing. I still can't get over it. It's so amazing. And solar powered Super Bowl.
I didn't know that.
I don't know what that means. Explain more. What does that mean?
They must have used solar to power the stadium, maybe.
They did?
I don't know.
Oh. They do not want to talk about remote viewing.
Okay, so now we know what you don't want. Tell us what you do want.
I love it. I love the remote viewing. No one cares, I guess. How many are in that group, though?
In our side dev group?
Yeah.
I think we're about 20.
And everyone's loving it, right?
Oh, people are having so much fun.
Yeah, I just like that. Like I said, time and time again, I love that it's like a real validation, a real connection to source that feels different than what I've done in the past.
I mean, the fact that Nick can pull up her phone, pick a random Instagram image, and say, okay, Nick, describe the image. And then I can describe a lot of the key characteristics of that image. Like, that shows that there's way more than what we're aware of going on beyond the 3D reality.
So do you try it with different things? So I told you the other day, I was trying, okay, if I was manifesting $500 today and like dropping into that zone, what would that look like? And I had a real vivid image come to me. It felt like something, like I was on to something, right?
Yeah.
And then I proceeded to, the next 3 hours trying to find that image because it felt like certain parts felt like things.
So you were out actively seeking the 500. So you felt like the image you got was like a breadcrumb, like a clue.
Yeah. So that's the theory, right? Because I could really care less about matching a picture that you posted 3 days ago. I mean, That's great. It's cool. And being able to do it feels like kind of like a hidden skill. It's fun. I want practicality.
Right. And, absolutely.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is like, you can't force money to show up. Right. So like,
okay,
even if you get an intuitive nudge to $1 million, the $1 million is either going to show up or not show up, not based on what you do, but based on what you're practicing vibrationally. So if you're in the receptive mode for $1 million and you do absolutely nothing other than follow impulses, it has to show up.
Yeah.
And if you're not a match to it, you can follow every impulse in the world and you're never going to get there, right?
I don't think that it was a negative thing.
No.
It was all positive. It was all fun. If it happened, it happened. If it didn't,
Yeah,
who cared? But
more
it was
exploration.
looking for the breadcrumbs. You're right.
Yeah.
And then I found stuff and it was like, oh my gosh, that's it. I don't know what that means. More skills to develop here, you know? Yeah.
But that's what manifestation is really about. Us as humans in our inner critic selves, we think manifestation is the game of me getting what I want.
Okay.
And really the source vantage point is like they're just using manifestation as a carrot dangling at the end of a string to get us down our paths of unfolding and expansion.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Manifestation and the desires, it's just the bait on the hook to get us to have the experiences needed to have the expansions that we came to physical reality to experience.
So why does the remote viewing feel so different then?
I think
it doesn't feel like I'm in a vibration of whatever that is. But it is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different because what we're doing is we're literally just using a real sixth sense to read the frequency of the target, right?
Okay.
So like everything is happening all at once, everything is happening here and now, right? So everybody, and if you want to go down the spiritual rabbit hole, everything is happening inside of you, right? Reality is a projection of your consciousness. So everything is inside of you, which means it's all accessible here and now.
Okay.
So the frequency of anything and all things are always available to you in the same way every emotion is always available to you.
Do you feel like it's a whole different process? Not a whole different process, but does it feel different than what you've been used to when you're just living your day? Because I know you're always in the receptive mode. I know you're tuning your vibration up and down. You're doing all sorts of fun stuff. Does this feel different?
I would say with remote viewing right now, it feels more like it's just a game.
Okay.
It's the game of reading frequencies, of attuning myself to decoding frequencies. And the more we play that game, the stronger that muscle is going to get. And I have no doubt that if you were to practice it enough and do it daily enough, like we're doing right now, you could get to a point where somebody could tell you the name of a person. You could view what's sitting on their kitchen table.
Right.
Right.
Or
because again, it's all frequency. Think about it in terms of radio waves, right?
Yeah.
Every single radio wave that you're in proximity of to receive, if you've got the right receiver, then you can hear what that channel is broadcasting. Right. Everything in physical reality is broadcasting a frequency in the same way as a radio channel. It's just a different type of frequency. And we all have the ability to pick up on these frequencies and read them.
And all things are possible, right? As in like that 500 could have come, or 5 million could have come, like for real, like
the game tapping into it, right? So in the context of 500, the game I would play is, how can my source self deliver to me 500? What would that look like? Where would it come from? How do I align myself with that?
Sure. Right. That's the game.
Yep.
And then there was no pressure.
Correct.
No consequence. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, I don't know. It didn't feel like a mishit or anything interesting. It was the start of something.
Yeah, I'm excited to play with missing objects.
Okay.
So we've got one person, and it's great practice targets, right? So somebody emailed one this morning, so I'm going to toss that to the side dev group. If anybody who's on this chat or watching this video has something that's lost, send me an email, nick@nickbreau.com. Don't tell me what the object is. Just type the words in your email, I have a lost item to find, and send it to me, and I'll send you instructions, and we'll see if we can locate it.
Do you think, like, if someone sends you like, oh, my ex, should those things be avoided, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that one.
Okay, right. I just wonder about, like, because I think you said, you know, don't do R-rated topics, you know, because you're asking, the person is being vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, the military viewers were probably viewing missing people and homicides
Sure.
and all this stuff. And for us as a practice group, I have no interest in tuning into those frequencies.
Right. I want to have fun.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Stephanie's asking, what are the options of discussions for topics? Anything, whatever you guys want to talk about.
I think she was hoping you would say A, B, C. What do you think?
Multiple choice.
Yeah, I think so. Talk about the best war of letting go of the old and resistance to be a match. Okay.
So there is so assuming that's the best way of letting go of resistance.
Okay.
There's no such thing as old resistance. All resistance is right now resistance. So you're either practicing resistance or you're not practicing resistance. Now the resistance we're practicing, and I see where the context of the word old comes from, because a lot of the resistance we are practicing comes from, past circumstances and past programming that we carry forward with us, right? I like the belief tree process. When I'm on the Breakthrough Club live calls and somebody has resistance, sometimes we do inner child work, sometimes we do the belief tree process. It really depends on that person's level of receptivity, what we're looking at. It's not kind of, it's not a black and white formula.
Yeah, it's interesting how often I'll go to your form, like your systems, because the belief tree process, or like even just giving compassion to that. If I feel like weird memories will pop in and I'll feel embarrassed about something that was 100 years ago, and it's like, no, a little compassion towards that.
A lot of the times resistance sticks around because of our resistance to the resistance.
Yes.
Right. And one of the processes that Source taught us through a channeling session was just kind of step outside of yourself, see yourself through the eyes of Source, and just have love and compassion for that version of you who's struggling with what it is you're struggling with. And sometimes that's even enough to shift it.
It's a lot. It does. It's quick, and yeah, it does. It removes a lot of resistance. Are there must requirements for manifestation, alignment versus vibration?
I'm not sure I would use the word requirements. Everything is manifestation, right? So this drink, manifestation. The table I'm sitting in, the chair I'm sitting in, manifestation. Everything in reality is manifestation, right? People think of, I'm going to go manifest something. Well, you're already doing it. The real way to perceive it is, okay, how do I become a conscious co-creator, right? How do I begin to understand these laws of the universe or laws of reality in ways where I'm adjusting my state of being so that I get to experience more of my preferred reality? But I would not focus on manifestation. I would focus on your connection to Source, because people think what they want is manifestation, but what you really want is connection to Source, because with that connection to Source, all good things come.
Does that connection to Source, does the connection change when you're in different states? You're, like the nervous system stuff you're always talking about.
Yeah. I mean, your connection becomes either suppressed or amplified.
Okay.
Right. So your connection to Source happens through your physical body, like your solar area, right? That's where your intuition comes from. People are living dominantly up in their mental body up here, right? When you're up here, you're not in the receptive mode, right? That's why I hammer in on our live calls the importance of grounding all the time. We talk about grounding, get in your body, right? Because this is where we're meant to be. We're not meant to be up in our mental bodies all the time, but because of how society is programmed, because of all the stress, pressure, overwhelm, it's pushing people up into their head and out of their bodies, and they're not present in their realities. And they're not, like, their connection to Source is like 5% of what it could be.
Yeah. Went to have my husband's motorcycle seat reupholstered. And we had a guy did it. He played great music, offered me the best beer, had a wonderful time, went to pay, and he said, no.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do that with things I actually want. Well, I'm sure you actually wanted that.
But here's the thing, and that comes up all the time, is the reason it happens to the things you don't care about is simply your level of attachment.
Right. Do you think that if she just had she attached herself to the emotion, though? I would hope that.
Well, she attached herself to the outcome, right? So, like,
I go back to the story
when I first, the first 7-figure manifestation, And that happened, after chasing it for 10 years.
Right.
It happened after I was like analyzing my life and like, you know what? I'm making good money. I've got a stable job. I'm going to be employed for the rest of my life. Like, I don't need this $1 million things to happen. And then literally within 2 weeks, it happened, right? That's detachment, right? So as humans, whenever, and I don't like the word flaw isn't correct, but I'm going to use it in this example.
Sure.
As humans, spiritual beings, the flaw that we make from the way we operate from a human vantage point is we attach the need for circumstances to be a certain way in order to feel good, right? So that's why we get attached to circumstances is, well, I need this to be this way. I need my bank account to be this. I need this type of lover, yada, 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 or else I'm not going to be happy. And, that pinches you off from all of those things. That's giving your power away.
Can you get equally as pinched off if you were like looking for the emotion of having a good time, or like, I hope to have a good time today? Like, if she really appreciated having the beer and hanging out with the motorcycle guy, like, can you still pinch yourself off that way?
Because
okay.
Well, pinching yourself off happens when you create resistance. So let's say this person, she's got a fear of bikers. So if she goes to this shop and she's got this fear of biker, well, that's going from the expanded state to contracted, right? To the resistant state. So that's pinching off, right? But if you're busy having fun and you're present in your now and things are flowing and you're relaxed, that's the receptive mode.
Bikers are the most fun. Scary. The whole thing's scary. It's great. Okay.
The best, let me just throw this in. Yeah. The best piece of advice I have to manifesting anything is stop trying to manifest it.
Without being like fully detached from life, though, because that sounds like a permission slip to stay in bed.
It doesn't mean, I didn't say stop going out and enjoying your reality.
Okay.
So you can still get out of bed and have a delicious cup of coffee and go do yoga on the beach and go hang out with a friend and go play an amazing round of disc golf and eat the foods you love. You can still enjoy and indulge in your reality, but stop chasing after the things you think is going to make your reality better or solve your problems.
And don't ever recognize that it is a manifestation, because it might kick you out of that mode.
Say that again.
Okay, so I would recognize doing yoga on the beach as a manifestation. I tend to do that. Okay.
Yeah, everything is hot seat at Abe-Hicks.
Of course, right? So now is that kicking me out?
Kicking you out of what?
Of the manifestation state. If you're saying everything's flowing but don't try to manifest.
You're always in the manifestation state.
Okay.
Right? So it's like the more open and receptive you are, and again, your physical body is the biggest indicator. How tense are you in your body? So the more open and receptive you are, the more allowing you are, the more stuff is going to flow.
Okay. Love. Healthy and unhealthy love.
I'd say all love is healthy. There's unhealthy behavior that people exhibit, right? Based on possibly negative love programming, right?
Yeah, I want to know more of what she's thinking is unhealthy love. That sounds fascinating. Okay. He was from Ethiopia. How about that?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. She wanted A or B or C with the.
Okay, so
everyone knows. Go ahead.
You come up with A, B, and C, and then we'll choose one of those topics.
Connection with source. How about that? Okay, that's A. There's a lot of resistance around me, not directly from me, but around me. Let's go with that topic. That's a great topic.
So most of the time when people refer to the resistance around them, they're referring to the people around them that are triggering you into a state of resistance.
Right.
And the default response to that for most people is trying to like fix their problems, right? So, make their life better so that you don't have to be in a state of worry, or resistance. It's like people pleasing, right?
Mhm.
People don't realize that people pleasing is a form of manipulation,
Okay.
right? Because I'm going to people please so that I can manipulate your state of being so that you're happy, because your unhappiness causes discomfort within me,
Okay.
right? So anytime we need any other person or any other circumstance to change, right, we're giving our power away.
Mm. It does sound constructive.
Constructive? What do you mean?
I don't know. If I'm trying to make the rest of the world a better place, that sounds fun. But you're saying it's different than
Who gives you the right
Okay.
to rob somebody else from their contrast?
Okay, cool.
Because contrast is always serving us if we allow it to, right? It's co-created by unconditionally loving source and infinite intelligence for our own growth and expansion. So if I'm walking around behind you, solving all of your problems for you, solving all of your contrasts for you, you're never going to grow and expand.
Mm-hmm.
Who gives me the right to take that away from you?
How about then, do you just stay your distance? How would you respond to that? Or you would just go with the flow? You could still be around that person and not let it influence you?
Yeah, well, that's the goal. It's not
Okay.
easy when it's somebody that you love,
Okay.
right? And if that person comes to you looking for help and looking for guidance, then of course you're going to provide that to them,
Yeah.
right? So it's not about desensitizing yourself to your environment and your reality, but it's about understanding that anything external to you that triggers you into resistance is not about the circumstance, but it's about your own perception about the circumstance.
Yeah. Okay. There's so many different ideas out there. How do I truly let go and solve a problem quickly?
By not seeing it as a problem.
Okay.
When you're consistently trying to solve a problem,
Yes.
you are continually practicing the vibration of problem, right? So when you're looking to manifest a solution and you're like, gotta solve it, solution's not here, solution's not here, solution's not here, solution's not here. Well, that's the vibration of absence of solution that you're propagating, right? That's why the best solutions come when you're like taking a shower, when you're not thinking about stuff.
Yeah. If she worded it differently and say, how do I make right now the best it can be? Or how do I get myself to appreciate the most out of right now? Grounded first?
So like I would say by being present in your right now,
Okay.
right? So if I'm here like typing away on my phone and scrolling away on TikTok or whatever all the cool kids are doing these days, like I'm not grounded and present in my reality.
Right.
Source isn't creating TikTok for me to sit 3 hours a day on TikTok scrolling through videos, avoiding my reality, right? That's not the path to expansion. The path to expansion is being present here and now.
That's avoiding. So you really limit your exposure to all that stuff, or how do you do that?
I mean, avoid and limit is a bit of a strong word, but I try to spend as much time as I can, outside in nature or working out at home or going in the sauna, doing things where I'm physically present instead of, distracted by something that's not even relevant to me.
Do you recognize that it's making you feel bad while you're doing it, or
I
it's like after the
recognize
fact?
it's not an emotional feel bad, but I recognize what it does to my nervous system. So especially,
Okay.
did you notice in that Joe McMoneagle, I can never know if I'm saying his name right. Joe Mc whatever.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Military #1 remote viewer. Did you notice in that video that we were watching this week and last week how when he talked about the nervous system?
Okay, go ahead. I do that.
He talked about how the nervous system actually has brain cells from the brain in it or something like that. It's the only part of the body that does. And to me, that automatically like flag went up because like when we channel with Anik and talk about source, like they keep hammering in the importance of grounding and the importance of relaxing your nervous system and how all of our nervous systems are fried. Right. And when you go back to the parasympathetic and physical healing, when you understand that rest and repair mode is when you're grounded with a relaxed nervous system, and fight or flight and being in your mental body up here is all sympathetic. When you're not in rest and repair mode, no wonder society is so fucking sick. Pardon my language.
So you'll recognize it then, like you'll recognize the shift and it's causing discomfort and so drop down into your chest.
It's like I recognize when my
My
nervous
phone.
system is just not relaxed.
Okay.
And now like I've been drinking coffee up until a couple of days ago. I had a decaf this morning. I've got this stuff on order called Mojo, which is
Mm,
it's like a it's like a coffee that's got L-theanine and stuff to stimulate the
mm.
parasympathetic. Um, but I'm really on a mission now to like absolutely like relax my nervous system.
Okay. And then uh, you recognize that Instagram makes sure you feel off when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're scrolling for more than 20 minutes, like notice how you feel before and after. It's same
Yeah,
as video games. Like I've played Fortnite with my
sure.
son before, and like I can't sleep if I play a video game at 8 o'clock at night
Mm.
because it wires your nervous system.
What if you did those tasks early in the morning, though? Would it jolt your day or would it just disrupt everything?
It would probably jolt somewhat. I mean, but again, like this is stuff I was not consciously aware of until
Mm,
this topic of nervous system kept coming up in the channelings over the last year. It's so important. Like the first thing doctors should be communicating to anybody who's sick is that your nervous system has two states: sympathetic, and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight or flight, mental body up here. Parasympathetic is rest and repaired, healing down in your body. Like 95% of society is living up here,
right.
right? Between the video games and the TikToks and the social media and all of the energy drinks and the coffee. Like, if your connection to source, if your nervous system is relevant to that
Mhm.
and you want a strong connection to source, you got to get in your body. I had somebody on the live call yesterday. So, in the Breakthrough Club last week, she came on and I could tell she was way up in her head. And I
Mm,
gave her access to my grounding meditation. And she came on the call yesterday in the Breakthrough Club and she said it's like changing her life,
yeah.
right? Just grounding, right?
Yep.
And I mean, we talked about it in one of our past episodes.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's like, uh, yeah.
Yeah, I recognize that it's more of like the feeling of, oh, I let that get carried away. I went too far with that and then come back. And so I'm maybe not doing it as often as I should until I recognize it. But I'm sure that just comes.
Well,
I don't
it's
know.
it's part of it is our addiction to stimulation,
Yes.
right? It's like, oh, just one more flick of the screen, one more
Yeah.
reel, one more TikTok.
Do you let yourself be bored? Is basically a lot.
I don't know if I like the word bored. Um,
Open. How about that? Your schedule is open. Things are open. You're not being distracted.
I'm gradually shifting myself more and more into that experience, and I think the remote viewing work we've been doing has been helping with that.
Because it's forcing you to stay in that state or be in
And
that
it
state.
gives you more purpose. So like my best remote viewing this week was the one where I meditated for half an hour beforehand. And I pretty much sketched the exact shape of the target. I sketched the trees in front, the fence in front. So like I know that when I'm grounded, connected, and my mind is silenced for that amount of time, I'm getting even more potent data. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife and I had to make a program. We had to start developing our program for people in a hurry or, for busy people because it's never quiet in our house ever. And if we want to practice, we have to like coexist with that energy. And so it's still working though. All right. Here comes a big one. You sitting down? It's the first day of Lent. What are your thoughts on God? Do you consider God, source, the universe, inner child, etc., all basic things, all basically the same thing, meaning?
Yeah, I would say it's all the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing I don't like about the word God is the
Mm,
interpretation that God is like an entity outside of you. I
mm.
like source or universe because it's more all encompassing, and religion has made God seem like it's external to you, which is not.
That's interesting because I'm actually feeling the opposite with religion lately. The
Cool.
God is more of, yeah. So I don't know if it's changed the meaning I'm
Yeah.
just hearing it different, but it
Yeah. I
feels like
see. I
a
see it
part
as
of
all
God.
as the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about people who don't want much? Ooh, that's interesting. They're not attached to a lot of money, etc. They don't usually receive a lot of money either. So some kind of want will have to be there, question mark.
I mean, I think everybody has desires. I think that people's desires just vary. Some people's desires are focused on emotional states. Some people's desires are focused on money. Some people's desires are focused on love. I think the desire you focus on is a byproduct of the lack you feel in some way within you, right? Because everything we want, what we really want is an emotional state that we're reaching for in that desire.
Yeah. What about you don't know what you want currently because there's no resistance, there's no negative thing happening. It's just kind of like a
That's
drifting
but that's my
day.
favorite. That's my favorite state of being, right?
And to
But you
recognize,
still,
see, I think it should be recognized. I think
but
maybe she should recognize that.
you still know that you want to feel good. You still
Yes.
know that you want to follow what excites you.
Yes.
So why
Sometimes
can't
there
that?
is a part of you though that says, "Oh, I should be doing
Nope,
more maybe."
that's the inner
Okay,
critic
that's
part of
the
you. That's
resistance.
optional, right?
Yeah.
You can work your way out of that. I think the best way to live reality is moment to moment. What's my now moment excitement, and having full permission to be able to follow that now moment excitement.
And then do you raise the vibration so it's like, "Oh, this feels great. Let's feel great about this feeling."
Yeah, absolutely.
And recognizing that because I think that there is a lot of drifting. I know
But
it
it
comes up with
depends.
Abraham stuff all the time.
Yeah, but with the drifting, the question on the drifting is like, what's the state of drifting that I'm in? Am I drifting in joy and fun and excitement? I don't see any problem with that. Am I drifting in neutrality and avoidance where
Okay.
I'm not allowing myself to feel what wants to be processed? So I'm avoiding by playing video games all day or by scrolling
Mm,
TikTok all day. You know, a
okay.
lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I live in alignment." Bullshit, right?
Mm,
A lot of people are living what they think is alignment, but they're really living in a state of neutrality. You know, when you're used to your life being a hot mess and then you shift out of that and now you're living more in neutrality, it's still a great upgrade and that's awesome.
yes.
And some people might mistake that for alignment, right?
Okay.
So
Sure.
like there's always higher state of beings, there's always lower state of beings. A lot of people think they're living in alignment and they might be there sometimes, but I think most people are still living dominantly in a state of neutrality.
And you're associating neutrality with avoidance.
It could be, not necessarily, but it could be.
Okay. It typically is. Like when you said that, it resonated. So you're just drifting and you maybe are just watching television because, why not? It's late. Uh, would you try to raise that vibration? Would you try?
I don't ever think of it in terms of like trying to raise my vibration. Like I know that's a good thing overall, but like I just do in whatever moment I'm in what feels best.
Okay.
And I know just by operating in that mode that like my vibration is going to calibrate to how good I'm feeling. So
Right.
like if I'm laying on the couch petting my cat and I'm feeling really good, then like that's good enough.
Right. And you're not considering that neutral. That's a positive vibration. The
If
television experience is a positive
if I'm petting
vibration.
the cat and I'm tuning into satisfaction and all of that, absolutely that's a positive vibration.
So maybe that's the only thing missing there is the appreciation or satisfaction of this. She's not
Mm,
attached to money, but that sounds like a great thing. If you're not attached to a bunch of money, and you're not worried today, that sounds great. A lot
Yeah,
of people would love to have that.
it's funny. Yesterday I had my yearly kind of update call with my financial advisor who manages my
Mm.
finances,
Okay.
and he said, Nick, I don't know what to do with you, and maybe you'd be better off with somebody else. He was thinking maybe he wants to drop me as a client because he doesn't know what to do with me. He says most of his clients that come in, they want to know all the numbers, they want to give input, they want to give direction, they want to change things, and I say just send me a report once a year, tell me if it's going up or down, and that's enough.
Okay.
Right? And to him, that was so confusing.
Right.
Because right. So it's
got a client that are buying helicopters to write them off.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So it's like you get to everybody's looking to break through this money ceiling, right?
Sure.
Money is the number one thing on people's list for manifestation. And the more you get off the topic and stop caring about it, the more is going to show up. Exactly what we said earlier in the call about detachment.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's a thing where if it doesn't, it doesn't, and you're not in a state of stress about it anyway.
And that is the challenge, is when your bank account is month to month, that's the cycle that's hard to break. And once you can break out of that scarcity mindset and that lack experience, it gets easier and easier.
Right. And do you suggest I guess you would just find new ways of resonating with that money, right? You're just, if you're literally month to month and you need to break out of it, or would like to break out of that.
Yeah. I mean,
you have to have stuff appear then. I mean, I assume a manifestation would need to, or you just change the way you feel about it.
It's different for every person, right?
Yeah.
For some people, money's not safe because they'll get taken advantage of. There's so many money fears and money blocks. Some people, it's stuck in a scarcity loop because they're just stuck focusing on it. That's where that 3-jar money process or 6-jar money process that I did comes in mind. And I mean, maybe Breakthrough Club next week, we just focus solely on money blocks, right?
Do people seem to like that a lot, or I
mean, we did the $1 million challenge in 2021, and the community, we manifested $2.5 million in unexpected money in 8 weeks.
Yeah. I should ask how to get in this Breakthrough Club. That's the one group I'm not a part of with you.
Yeah, you don't. I'll get you access.
Okay, but tell the people how they get access.
Let me find a link. It's $95 a month.
Oh, okay.
Calls are on Tuesdays. You don't have to be live on the calls. Most people watch the recordings. I've got a link to it somewhere, so I can drop it in the chat window. Where's the link? So what's our next topic?
Focusing on the things that could go wrong blocks all vibrations. Here's
a link with an 80% off first month discount. Anybody wants to give it a try?
Yeah, I want that.
I wasn't
focusing on what I can control provides me the most comfort, and good things happen around me, for me. So how important is it to focus on the things you
here's the mistake on that. Okay. So instead of trying to control your focus on right or wrong, once you understand that there is no wrong, right, that helps with that deeper level of detachment, right? Because again, receptivity mode is letting go, right? What's the opposite of resistance? Allowance.
Yeah.
Right? You can resist or you can allow.
Yeah.
Right? So anytime you're pushing against any kind of circumstances, that's automatic resistance. So as soon as you label something as wrong or bad, you're automatically turning it into resistance. Right? So once you accept all circumstances as beneficial, do you feel the expansiveness in that? Do you feel the relaxationness in that? Right?
Yes. So focus at all an important thing, focus on grounding, focused on allowing, by that word, it kind of disrupts things.
I would say it's be in your body.
Okay.
Understand that everything that is being experienced in your reality. Okay. Be in your body and understand that what you are experiencing is not something you're a victim to. It's a response to what you're practicing.
Yes.
And we talked about this in the Breakthrough Club call last night. Stuck. When you're stuck, there's no such thing as stuck. You're just continuously practicing the same loop because you're continuously practicing the same vibration. Any circumstance is shiftable like that. But the shift isn't an external shift. It's a shift that happens within yourself.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. This moment I'm experiencing right now is manifested. It's the best I can have, be, do right now. I love it.
Awesome.
What gives you the right to give away someone else's contrast? Perfectly said. He loves it. Yeah.
Good.
That's an hour ago. Morning. Okay. Richard Dotz has a good book called Dissolve the Problem.
Awesome. Yeah, he's got like 20 books. That guy is a writing machine.
I don't know.
And that I wonder if I think that's a pen name. I don't know who actually writes those books.
A computer. Are they good? I don't know. I think I've seen one. I think I've seen one.
I don't. How many books have I read? I've read maybe 3 books in the last 5 years, and none of them are spiritual related.
Do you? I've been like coming across more and more YouTube videos of the thumbnail looks amazing, and then it's I feel like it would be something you would do. And it's just like basically a speech about resistance or allowing or whatever. And then they'll have words on the screen. Okay. And then stuff in the background. But it's so obviously like AI that it just instantly bums me out. And it's got 250,000 views in 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang it. I want you to do it. I want to hear you talk.
Somebody sent me a link to a Law of Attraction book that had my name in it.
Oh.
This book has over like 20,000 5-star reviews. And what this person did is they found 10 YouTube videos on the topic of money manifestation. One of those videos was mine. They transcribed all 10 of those videos, turned them into each transcripted video is a chapter in the book.
Okay.
And then at least they put my name in and acknowledged me.
Yeah, that's great.
And then put this book out. And this book has sold probably over 20,000 copies.
This is
right?
great.
So this person didn't write a book. They just took scrapped a bunch of YouTube videos, turned it into a book, and is probably making, it's genius, but like that's the age we live in. And with this chat GTP stuff, it's only getting started.
Yeah. You just want to keep your name involved in that. I think you should be attached at all times. Okay. When in a crowd and I have an open, vivacious personality. Oh, do I quiet myself because someone might not be happy? Oh, that's interesting.
Why should you?
Yeah.
What makes you responsible for other people's emotional states?
We need people like this. We need people to be the light.
And if that person is not happy, it's got nothing to do with what you're doing. It's their own programming.
They might not even be not happy. They might just be observing.
Right. But even then, like when you do something that displeases somebody else, you're actually like providing them a service. You're showing them where they're giving their power away.
I'm a fan of Christy. I love this. I'm the wallflower. I want to just sit and observe and watch people have a lot of fun. This is the best. Don't lower your vibration. I want to watch you have a good time and not participate. My nervous system's a little off for sure. And it's amazing how fast I can shift. One day so good, the next completely shifty.
Yeah, I would say, and I'm going to reflect on this for myself, coming up with like a 10-day or 14-day, like, I don't know if adrenal detox is the right term, but like completely cut out any kind of stimulant like coffee, energy drinks, anything with caffeine, cut it out. Cut out all social media, cut out video games, including Candy Crush and all those, stuff that you find on your phone. Cutting out everything that could stimulate your nervous system for 2 weeks. and see how different you feel, I can guarantee you'll feel so different you would never have even have expected it.
Is there a way to have like low vibration stimulus? Like, say you live in a busy city, right? Versus like I live out in the country and it's very quiet. I would think that those are two very like little different things, but maybe not Candy Crush, but the TV on in the background.
I could never live like in New York. I remember I would have one-on-one clients where every 10 to 30 seconds you'd hear a freaking siren going off in the background. Like, it's just like, and I'm sure your conscious mind gets used to all of the background noise, but like from a nervous system vantage point, when you're hearing fire trucks or ambulances or police cars going off behind you multiple times a day, that can't be good for your nervous system.
Okay, but there's some people that have little 3-year-olds that like to yell just as much as a fire truck. And so I can't just walk away.
Yeah, that's
how do you, and so I would say he's my most stimulus.
Yeah, I would agree. Kids, absolutely. Or
so now I want to coexist with that. I want to do your detox, but in the detox that is, I think that there should be.
Okay, so if you've got a child,
I do,
who, yells a few times a day or screams or needs your attention in that way. I remember my son, it was daddy, 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 24/7. Daddy, come see this. Daddy, come look at this. And God bless him. Like, I love the kid. But it's hard on the adrenals, for sure. Yes. So let me reflect on the solution to that. I would say, I'm going to reflect on that one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this reflection. I'm excited to hear your result because, it almost feels like you got to wait a couple more years, and that sucks.
So I would say next time that you notice your adrenal being triggered by the 3-year-old, check in with like and fear response doesn't sound like the right words because you're not diving into fear, but it's like, there has to be some kind of mental programming that triggers like the adrenal response or the nervous system response. So like next time he's about to yell or yells, try to sit quietly and stay relaxed. It's like, I remember when my kids were that age, it's like you jump up and you have to go pick them up and grab them or tend to them right away. Does that sound?
Yeah, so, I think that's my version of getting into it because ignoring doesn't feel right. So it is my opportunity to now play with him and have fun. But
the word I'm looking for is like slowing down.
Yeah.
It's almost the thing is, if I try to check in with my programming, it's almost like this voice that says like, "Uh-oh, kid is crying. I got to run. I got to go now." Yeah. It's like there's a fire that needs to be put out.
Yeah.
So I think the controlling the adrenals is by removing that programming of like, oh, he's crying. Okay, cool. Give me a second. Take a deep breath. All right, I'm going to go see what he wants. Like slowing down.
Keep reflecting. When are you going to make another song for YouTube? High vibe music.
People keep asking me that all the time. My Abraham-Hicks remixes are my most watched YouTube videos, which I think is hilarious because I've got all these like deep, life-changing videos, yet people just want the music. I've actually got a playlist half created. I'm missing about 3 or 4 more songs, but my intention is to have something out by the end of the month. No promises, but the intention is there, so it's coming.
I learned Aha's Take on Me on the piano. Is it mostly atmospheric music that you're doing, like where it's just like
I do a mix? It's like a lot of house music, tech house, melodic house, and then I add in some like Abraham-Hicks in the background or my voice saying stuff in the background.
All right. Oh, look at all these. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I might have missed something, but all right. Shadow work.
I'm familiar with shadow work. I don't know anything about a book though.
Can you talk about some shadow work? Because I'm just like,
I mean,
more and more
my interpretation of shadow work is just looking at the parts of yourself that are seeking to be healed.
Okay. It's not necessarily like it almost like at first when you hear the word shadow, for me,
Sounds
it's like,
very
ooh,
dark and
scary.
mysterious.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been getting into, I'm going to start getting into human design and the gene keys. Have you heard the gene keys?
I've heard of them. I haven't experienced them.
So I experienced it pretty good yesterday.
Human design is awesome. I would say, like, in terms of like, those fields of work, I would say sidereal astrology is number one.
Okay.
And then human design is probably number two in terms of like amount of data and accuracy that I've experienced.
And then so when they were describing the thing, because it was a mixture of human design and the I Ching. Is that right? I Ching.
Yeah.
But so the two combined, okay? So essentially sidereal astrology, can't say it. Although I don't know if that's true because I think that 13th house.
Yeah, human design doesn't use sidereal.
Okay. But these two, it combines the two. Okay. Is the thing. But then they were talking about like how human design is more like practical. Like they were saying it was more like masculine energy, like here, do this. Is that accurate? Because I like that.
It could be. I haven't, like, we had a guest speaker in the collective who came, Annabelle. She came and talked about human design in one of our 90-minute sessions, and we all had our charts and looked through it. And I've had human design sessions before, but I've never really studied human design.
Okay. Like, I'll be honest, I want someone to say, here, do this. All right, good. That's what I'm hoping.
You like the practical side of things.
For right now, I do. I want to, like, it feels like I'm a little stuck, and a little discipline is a good thing.
Something that really stuck with me in that Joe McMonagle 6.5 hour video, and we've got an hour and a half left. And I don't know if you noticed it, but he asked, like, why are you at such a high caliber of remote viewing? And like, why, where are the others? And he said it was like about dedication and practice, that there's not a lot of people who are dedicated to, putting in the time and effort to learning it, to develop the ability as deeply as maybe he has. Something along those lines is what he said.
Sure.
And that really stuck with me, not just from the remote viewing vantage point, but from a lot of aspects of spirituality. Like, I know my connection to source comes down to being in my body, relaxed nervous system, right? Hanging out with high vibe people, which is why everybody here should be getting on our breakthrough club calls. And like working through whatever it is that surfaces within me that wants to be cleared and looked at and worked through. I know that, like, those are the key things, that those are the priorities for everyone. And like, I think most people know that. Like, if we use grounding as an example, if everybody knows, grounding is important, but how much time are you really dedicating to living grounded? Right? Yeah. And it's not a hard thing to do, to learn how to do that and build that muscle. Like, I did a call in January talking about the importance of it. And I think there was over 100 people on that call, maybe even close to 300. And then I offered a 6-week program for like $200-300 on being grounded, getting in your body, living that way, or 5-week program. And we only had like, a dozen signups. And it's interesting because, like, your connection to source is the most important thing in terms of the quality of your physical reality experience. Like, I can't think of anything that's more important than your connection to source.
Right.
And what's under that umbrella that's going to allow that strong connection to source? Living grounded in your body, connecting and being around people who are living that at that level already, right? Working through the shadow aspects of yourself, the parts of you who are looking to be healed, right? It's not hard work, but people are busy being distracted by maybe crystals or trying to open their third eye and a whole bunch of stuff. And that's all valid exploration. But like, there's a certain level of integration that needs to happen if you want to be a master at living in your 3D/5D reality connected to source.
When you were doing like a 3-minute, you had a timer go off every 3 minutes, I think, for that.
Yep. Still
And
working on it.
so, okay, did you notice a big difference that day?
Yeah. And this was a couple days ago. The day that I really did a good job of it, absolutely. I noticed there was like a stronger flow to my day, which is a good reminder because I haven't done it the last couple of days. So I got to go back to doing it. What I said on the Breakthrough Club call last night was I'm going to do it now on the topic of like doing a receptivity check-in. So every 3 minutes when it beep goes off, checking in how relaxed am I in my body? How much am I in the receptive mode and grounded? And then recalibrating to that 0 point.
Okay. Do you think that the 3 minutes became a distraction is why you stopped, or how did it, like it kind of prevented you from staying there?
I've been doing it a lot while I'm working at my computer.
Mm.
So I've got like 3 monitors here, 2 computers. So one computer would beep every 3 minutes. Every time it would beep, I would take my hands off my keyboard, ground, keep going. And then just from being away from the computer and stuff, I just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I would just imagine that. I guess it wouldn't. You would just be a constant reminder, so it'd be fine. Like I feel like it would
Eventually
kick you out of it.
Eventually becomes your baseline, right? So right now, the reason everybody's living up here all the time, like sure, like stress, pressure, anxiety, phones, video games, all that stuff automatically puts you up here. But this is our default because we're used to relying on our minds, right? So like being grounded in your body should be your default, and you can absolutely work your way back in there by being there enough.
So if you were in an office doing this, would it be challenging, more challenging?
Put some headphones on.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how Office does.
So when she says, go back to that. So when she says, I love that, but isn't that hard while working? I think she says, isn't it hard to be in your body and not in your mind while working? Right. And I think,
do you think
the
that?
best stuff you produce, like when I write, I'm not writing from analysis. I'm writing from this connection grounded in my body. That's why it only takes me like 2 weeks to write a book.
What if you're doing like literal, I don't even know. I don't know what people do. I don't know what people do. They move numbers here to here. I don't know. If you had to like use an analytical brain.
And it's not about being completely avoidant of being up here, right? You still need your brain to interface with the 3D world. But instead of spending 90% of your time up here and only like 10 to 20% down here, you want to flip that.
Yeah. Yeah. Find setting my day with grounding helps significantly,
Yeah, but it's, and I love that point. So
staying.
It's, a lot of people say, yeah, I get up in the morning and I do a 10-minute grounding meditation. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. Like that's getting out ahead of it. That's a very first positive step. But if 30 minutes later you've just spent 20 minutes on TikTok and you're back up here again, well, now you're not grounded anymore. So it's more about living grounded and being down here as much as you can, rather than just doing 1 20-minute meditation in a day.
Do you find like with the seasons or anything like that, it changes your grounding state? Like now you're going to get out to be outside more?
Absolutely. Because right now, February, it's cold. It's not fun to be outside. I can't play disc golf.
Yeah.
The more time you're spending outside and in nature and being physical and being active, the more you're going to be in your body.
Yeah, for sure. Congrats on writing a book in 2 weeks.
Yeah, both my paperbacks, the first draft was 2 to 3 weeks. I've got another book that's ready to be written. I just been procrastinating on it for the last 6 weeks, or 6 months, I should say. They told me that the book is ready like 6 months ago.
I think that's the one difference, because I was just about to suggest you just have ChatGPT do it all for you. But I think that's our last superpower, right? Is that connection to source.
Yeah, and I write for me. Like I don't write
to
put a book out. I write because I've got the best title for a book right now. It's so good. It's like the best title I've ever. Anyways, I just need to find the kind of, I don't know, the flow to sit down and put it all together.
Yeah, especially when you've already done it. I think that first one's a lot more fun Because you're saying to yourself, can I do this? Now you know you've done it. You can do it. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like the first book was a practice. Power of Joy felt like it was kind of like a practice. Power Manifesting, that one felt really good. That's probably my favorite thing that I've ever written. And that's why people, I think, like it so much. And then this next one feels like it could be like mainstream huge just because of the title.
That's cool. Good for you.
Yeah. It's really good.
All right.
If I ever sit down and write it.
No pressure or anything. Yeah. I guess. I mean,
no
if there's a high ceiling or no ceiling at all, that's great. That's fun.
Yeah, it's like the day that
do you have expectation of that though, or do you like?
No, it's like I'm so happy with how Power Manifesting turned out.
Yeah.
My next book could be completely crap and I wouldn't give a shit.
Okay. But also probably will be mainstream, like you said. That's great.
Oh, it's so good. I really should write it.
There you go. You know what you're doing today.
Nah.
Yeah, no one wants to write a book right now. Have fun. All right. I think we're good, eh?
Yeah, that was a quick hour. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, questions kind of rule.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And a reminder, we have our School of Expansion live call this afternoon. I think what we're going to do is some subconscious alchemy or some good meditation stuff. Ooh. And then next Tuesday, as always, we've got our Breakthrough Club. And I shared that link with 80% off discount code for a first month in here somewhere. So if you scroll back through the chats, you should be able to find that. And I really do hope some of you guys choose to come play because it really is solid stuff.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I want to be a part of that on Tuesdays, huh?
That one's on Tuesdays. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hook you up. I know somebody.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody. See y'all next time.